All right, man, peace. So, brothers, this is going to be the first entry in a new series that I'm starting called Honesty is the Best Policy. And, brothers, when I say honesty is the best policy, I'm not just referring to how you treat other people. I'm also referring to how you treat yourself. We have to be honest with ourselves. That's how we stay out of a lot of bullshit, a lot of dumb shit. And when we're honest with ourselves first, that's going to cause a trickle-down effect in how honest we are with other people, especially the people that we care about. You'll find that a person's nature normally starts with how they view themselves. So if someone is a liar, it's normally because they lied to themselves. Like a lot of cats say, women are always lying. You know, women are this, women are that. Well, the issue with most women is because due to the fact that they're two-dimensional thinkers, they tend to evaluate themselves based on a two-dimensional perspective, meaning what? They live comparatively. They gauge their own personal value in juxtaposition to the next woman's personal value and what makes her valuable, meaning what? Who has bigger breasts, who has a fatter ass, who has nicer legs, who has prettier lips, who has longer hair, so on and so forth. And from there, they look at themselves in the mirror and they start to view themselves based on their flaws as opposed to what they have going for them, which leads them to put on tons of makeup, hair weave, push-up bras, etc. So in other words, they delude themselves first, and thereafter they start to try to delude everybody else. As men are supposed to think on a higher level. Men are supposed to be three-dimensional thinkers. Once again, that's how you avoid a lot of the dumb shit. A lot of you guys who have women problems is because you think like a woman. You have women problems because you think like a woman. Okay? So when we're honest with ourselves first, after that, we can be honest with other people. And that brings us to this case right here involving Mr. Trevor Bauer, who's a star pitcher with the Cleveland Indians. And I found this segment very interesting because he has his ducks properly in order. He understands what is important. He's putting himself and his career first, especially since he's still in the early stages of his baseball career. And he tells the women that he deals with, look, you're never going to come before my career. He says that point blank, and he lays out other statutes to them to help them understand what their place is in his life. And let me tell you something, brothers. You might think that maybe he's being a little harsh, especially if you're one of those cats who think like a woman. But I promise you, the woman that you're dealing with in the hierarchy of her life, you're not number one. Her own lusts come first, her family, her homegirls, however many children she has by however many other men. All those things come before you. Okay? That's why a lot of you guys end up getting your heart broke, because you put the woman higher up on your totem pole than she has you on hers. When the woman says certain things, it's for that moment. Whatever the woman tells you, it's for that moment. That's how she feels, because that's how the woman's brain is configured. Men have to learn to understand that your brain should not be like the woman's brain. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
TV Sports, Evan here with Van Lathan. What up, Michael J. Babcock. What's up? Trevor Bauer is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Some people think he's the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. Really?
He's a stud. He's a stud pitcher.
Cleveland Indians, yeah, he's great. He's awesome. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to dating, he has his own set of rules. He doesn't play by regular rules.
He doesn't really have his own set of rules. He just has rules. Most so-called men in America are not really men. They're males. So they don't operate according to rules, i.e. order. They operate according to haphazardness. They just go by their feelings because that's what they learn from their mother and from the television.
His own set of rules, and he talked about him with Sports Illustrated. Now a lot of people are saying he's kind of a scumbag for these rules. Are you ready for Trevor Bauer's rules of dating?
Where are they?
Okay, here we go. Rule number 1, no feelings allowed. He says when he talks to women and they want to go on a date, he says, we're not allowed to have feelings because I'm not emotionally available. I don't want to get attached to you.
In other words, he does not have time to get into the petty emotional back and forth that most females are going to try to drag a man into to lower his wavelength of understanding. A lot of you cats don't understand how much the woman acts as a force of distraction if you let her. If you let her. Everything that happens to you with a woman is your fault. It's not her fault. Why do I say that? Because the only way that a woman can permeate into the infrastructure of your life is if you allow it. And normally males allow it because they're not properly trained. I'm going to rewind this back for a moment because I just wanted to read over this blurb. Now it says here, no feelings. As soon as I sense you're developing feelings, I'm going to cut it off because I'm not interested in a relationship and I'm emotionally unavailable. What does that mean? He does not have time to take care of a child. Trevor Bauer seems to know or understand one of the main and core tenets that I try to communicate to you brothers as much as I can. That is that the average woman is just a child with breasts. Okay? That's what he means when he says that he's emotionally unavailable. That means that he does not have the time to be up on the phone with you at 12:30 at night because you're having a mental breakdown because you think that he's cheating, or something that he said reminds you of what your boyfriend said 3 boyfriends ago, and you want to know where this relationship is going. He does not have time for that. He just wants some pussy. That's what he's trying to communicate. And good for him. He's honest. That means that the Cleveland Indians have a very good and focused pitcher. He's someone who's going to maximize whatever his talents are on the mound, because he's put the woman in her proper compartment and he's putting his career where it's supposed to be. And when he's emotionally, mentally, and spiritually available and ready to deal with a woman in a quote unquote relationship where you basically have to babysit the woman and help her through a lot of her ups and downs, then he'll do so. That's what that means. Now, it could also mean that at one point in his life, he got his heart broke and he's not willing to open himself up right now. Who knows? Either way, at least he's being transparent with himself and honest with the woman.
Women and then want to go on a date, he says, are not allowed to have feelings because I'm not emotionally available. I don't want to get attached to you. Rule number 2.
He does not want to get attached because that leaves him open for weaknesses. If he becomes weak, that can affect his performance on the field. What if he starts to develop an emotional tie with this female, and now that the woman sees that she has him trapped in her web, now all of a sudden right before the game she's texting him, I don't think that we should see each other anymore. Now he's got that shit on his mind as opposed to being the best player that he can be.
2. No social media posts about me while we're together. He's a private person. He doesn't want their relationship splashed all over social media.
This dude is on point, man. Trevor Bauer, salute to you, sir. I just wanted to rewind it back just so that we can go over this blurb right here. Trevor Bauer says, no social media posts about me while we're together because private life stays private. In other words, you're not going to claim me in public because that's going to be an attempt by you at a power play. Like, brothers, you ever watch National Geographic and you'll see that sometimes the lion or the leopard or the wolf will try to declare what it feels to be its property or its possession or its territory by pissing on a rock or on a tree so that other wolves or leopards or lions know everything here is mine. What the woman tries to do by posting photos of you and her on social media is to declare to the world, this man is mine. Or sometimes she'll come over to your place, and if she really likes you or she enjoys the ride that you're giving her, she'll purposefully leave her drawers. She'll leave her drawers somewhere where you have to find them. You might be cleaning up your place and you'll see a pair of drawers there. That was her marking her territory. Or you go in your bathroom and she'll leave a toothbrush there, and it'll be a pink toothbrush. Some shit like that. You know, or a bottle of her lotion there. That's her way of showing you that she believes that you're hers, and she expects to see the lotion or the toothbrush where she left it when she comes back. And if it's not there, that's her way of trying to figure out if you're seeing other women. Okay, so Trevor Bauer understands. Don't try to claim me on social media because I'm not yours.
About me while we're together. He's a private person. He doesn't want their relationship splashed all over social media.
That second rule is gold. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
And rule number 3, this is the best one. I get to sleep with other people. I'm going to continue to sleep with other people.
Trevor Bauer got everything figured out. I sleep with other people. I'm going to continue to sleep with other people. If you're not okay with that, we won't sleep together, and that's perfectly fine. Damn. Trevor Bauer is ice cold. I like this motherfucker. I might check out some of his starts coming up this season. He might be somebody who, quote unquote, got his heart broke. Or he might just be someone who was very well schooled in the modern day woman and he knows how to handle his business. Either way, his rules are very compact, very cogent, they're to the point, and they are going to work. And let me say this. It's not necessarily a good thing that he's going to sleep with other people, just like it's not necessarily a good thing that anybody sleep with other people. But if they know in their heart that they're not willing to or ready to settle down with one person, it's good that he's being honest about it and letting the person know, do not expect a relationship from me. Do not expect me to just be fucking you because I'm going to hit up chicks if I find them attractive. So it's up to you to figure out what you want to do. But don't come at me crying and trying to act as if I hurt your feelings or I broke your heart when I'm letting you know from the jump.
If you're not okay with that, we won't sleep together, and that's perfectly fine. If you're gonna...
In other words, I have options. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want, and if you don't like it, have a nice day.
Want to date Trevor Bauer, 3 things. You can't get emotionally attached. You got to come to terms with the fact that he's going to nail other people, and then you can't post anything about him on social media. You're okay with this?
Well, we know that you're not okay with it because you're a simp. And you basically have no spine, no backbone. And your quote-unquote wife, i.e. the person who you have to pay your tribute money to, tells you how to feel and what to do. So you can't relate to Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer does not care if you're okay with it or not. He's laying out his terms. He knows that he's in a position of power. And whatever woman that he's in a quote-unquote rapport or quote-unquote relationship with is not in the position to dictate anything to him. So take it or leave it.
I mean, I don't know why I would have a problem with it. It seems like he has some guidelines for his life.
He sounds like,
Why?
I'm gonna sleep around, you can't post pictures, no feelings. Like, what is he doing?
This guy at the bottom left, this is more simp rationalizing. This is a person who would break down and cry, probably try to slit his own wrist if his woman left him. Brothers, never allow yourself to get in that position where you're criticizing another man for being transparent with himself and honest with who he's dealing with. I could understand if someone were to cast aspersions on a person like a Trevor Bauer if he was misleading people or lying to them or trying to utilize some level of chicanery to have as many women as he wants and also have them think that they're in relationships. All that is, I understand, is balderdash. But if he's letting you know what it is from the jump, you cannot be upset. And if you are a man or a male and you're upset, I have to question, number one, your outlook on life. I also have to question your masculinity. It's very obvious to me that the person at the bottom left is way too much in touch with his female side.
The reality is that he's a young man enjoying the prime of his life and his riches. This is how he wants to live his life. I think it's commendable for him to be upfront with you.
Absolutely.
Car into the city and pick up a girl on the street then. This is not a relationship.
No.
That dude at the bottom left, I have news for you, sir. Most of these modern day females in America operate according to the mentality of a whore. I promise you that most of them actually probably respect Trevor Bauer more for the rules that he's laying out. No, he does not have to go out there and seek out a prostitute. As long as he's letting these so-called regular women know what it is, most of them probably appreciate it. Probably turns them on that he says, look, I'm not thinking about your ass. Just make sure that when I call you, you have that coochie in the air when I walk through the door. That's it. I don't want to hear no complaining. I don't want to hear no bitching, no moaning. Well, I do want to hear some moaning, but it's only when I want to hear it. I don't want to hear you complaining about no dumb shit.
Wait. You know what's funny? He just said he doesn't want a relationship.
He doesn't want a relationship.
That's what he said.
Ding. Babcock can't get it, though, because he's a simp. Once again, a simp cannot really be reformed.
I think I'm with Van on this. I think the more honest you are up front, the better off.
The better. Like, at least he's not saying that he doesn't want all of these things and lying to the ladies to get them. Yeah.
I subscribe to that method.
A simp is like a heroin addict. He's always prone to have some type of relapse. So, I mean, you could work with the simp, but normally simps have to be heavily traumatized. And from there, they have to be put through like a 12-step program to be able to accept reality because they've been imbued with a false sense of their surroundings for their entire life. Once again, due to their mothers, the females in their family, maybe their simp-ass fathers or older male relatives, and the television. So it's very difficult for them to accept reality unless something traumatic smites them.
That's the method.
Do all that.
The lie method.
Yeah.
The tell the ladies one thing and then do something else.
Deception bad guy.
Michael, deceiver.
No, he's not kidding. That's how most simps are. They lie to themselves and they lie to the woman because they operate on a two-dimensional level. They lead with their emotions, and after they get their heart broke, then they want to talk about how they make towel, they eat more, or some other shit. Once again, brothers, when you approach life in a very three-dimensional, straightforward way, you can avoid a lot of these shenanigans that a lot of these other brothers have to embrace because they never embrace the truth to begin with. We have to start understanding the truth earlier so that brothers don't have to learn from their mistakes. Learning from your mistakes is the worst way to learn.
Trevor Bauer, he says a lot of crazy stuff. I don't like this man.
Nothing crazy about it.
I don't think it's respectful to the beautiful ladies out there.
He's on a simp roll right now. He's one of those guys who's going to go home one day. He'll say, hey, guys, I forgot my Walkman in my apartment. Let me go home. You know, my girlfriend's at work right now, so I got to make sure that I get my Walkman. I can hear my tunes. He's going to walk in, see his girl being pile-driven by the UPS guy. He's going to lose his mind and jump out a window.
Wait. It's the ultimate respect. Honesty.
There's a girl out there that goes out with him and wants to hear that he's going to sleep around.
But here's the deal. By default, any girl that goes out with him wants to hear that.
Absolutely, because he's telling her from the jump.
Because he's put it out there before. So by default, any woman that wants to go out with Trevor Bauer or goes out with him is okay with those things.
And what that also does is that creates an element where the woman is trying to break through that barrier. So she's going to go above and beyond to please him in every way. And that's what's known as a ruling class mentality. You don't get the woman's respect by kissing her ass. You actually get her respect by showing restraint and by showing her through your inaction that you're not as interested in her as she is in you. When you understand that the woman is replaceable, that's when the woman all of a sudden wants to win your attention. Especially attractive women. Because attractive women are accustomed to being hit on by men. When you show no interest, that's when they want to approach you. And when you show an exceeding lack of interest, or you get with them and you let them know that they're only going to be a marginal part of your life, and you also happen to be an upstanding individual who's highly intelligent, charismatic, funny, good looking, etc., they have no choice but to try to keep trying to break you down. That means that they're going to do what? Everything that they're supposed to do. Stay in their place, cook, service you sexually, be there for you to support you. That's how you try to return that paradigm to the appropriate calibration, not by kissing ass and being a simp.
He knows the ground rules, knows what to expect, and in his opinion, it makes him feel like, okay, we're being honest, and if you don't like it, there's the door.
And here's the deal. A lot of times you'll go out with a lady and she'll be like, just to let you know, nothing's happening on the first date. Commendable.
Yeah.
Commendable. She goes, okay, now you know. You might go, oh, okay, well, just to let you know, American Idol's coming on later, so I'm not going to be able to make it.
Right.
But like, whatever, like... Like, commendable. Like, if the more honest you are, it's commendable.
Yeah. Anyway, so Babcock's not going to get into a serious relationship with Trevor Bauer, apparently.
Not at all.
Yeah. So there you go.
Babcock's one of those guys who has one date with a chick and is in love. They go to McDonald's and then they sit in the park and feed the pigeons, and he goes home. Before he even gets home, he's texting the hearts and shit.
There you go. You don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about it. Way to go. Look, that's him yelling at the women to stay away from it.
That's him yelling at all the bros who want to be in a relationship with him. Get away, bitch.
To keep their feelings down.
Trevor Bauer, congratulations, sir. Good for you. For you brothers out there, there's a lot to be learned from someone like a Trevor Bauer who has certain rules that he operates by. And he knows where to place the woman, at least the modern day Babylonian woman, in this society. So peace.